Hello and welcome to Latest TV. My name's Katrina Holden and I'm here in the studio with Robbie Kelly. Now, Robbie is a business owner and he owns a fungi farm out in Hastings. Robbie, welcome to Latest TV.
Thank you.
Now, tell us a little bit about what drew you to starting a fungi farm.
Well, it's a bit of a weird choice, isn't it? There's no logical explanation for it, really. It's a bit of a mad decision. But the first thing that inspired me was some books by Paul Stamets, actually. So it was the science element of it. It was the technical process of growing them and working with agar and petri dishes and all the culture work of it. That really got me fascinated. I was working as a chef at the time, didn't want to do it for much longer, so I decided maybe I'll try and start it as a business. And 2 years down the line, here we are.
Fantastic. And you sell your fungi to restaurants and hotels?
Yeah, exactly. So we're a wholesale provider. You know, we work with fancy restaurants essentially. So a couple of Michelin star places, which makes me very proud. But really, we're just trying to produce a large amount of really beautiful mushrooms and sell them directly to chefs.
And that's a wonderful achievement if the Michelin-starred restaurants are taking your work. That's amazing.
Yeah, definitely didn't expect that.
Yeah, proud day, when that came through. Oh,
yeah.
That's wonderful. What is the most rewarding part of this business for you?
Well, in all honesty, it's probably the freedom of time. It's the fact that I get to work for myself doing something I love. It's, it keeps me interested every day. There's always a new challenge to work with. So yeah, it's also, of course, it's seeing all the different restaurants out there who decide to work with us. It makes you very proud.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, mushrooms are definitely having their day right now with the health benefits that are being explored, and as well as the nutritional and the sustainable process. Also, tell us a little bit.
I think it's interesting. I think they've become really popular on a bunch of different fronts all at once. So it's the ecology aspect, it's the sort of micro remediation where it's using mushrooms to fix problems in the environment like pollution. It's the fact that they have medicinal purposes, they're a healthy food, they're a very sustainable crop. It's all of these things at once. And others.
Yeah, that's great. Do you have a vision for your farm?
I do. It's often changing. I'm not entirely sure what direction we'll take it in the end, but it'll look similar to what we're doing now, more of it, and I'm hoping we can kind of refine the lab work side of it, where we can start to work with more native varieties. So really, that's one of the visions that I want to work towards is continuing to clone mushrooms from the wild and build up this culture bank of all native mushrooms that we can grow and offer to our restaurants.
Oh, wow. And can you tell us a little bit about how you do grow them?
Of course I can, yeah. Without giving away any secrets.
Exactly.
So we grow everything from scratch. We do it all in-house, or as much as we possibly can. So we start with a petri dish. It's inoculated with mycelium, which is a sort of vegetative part of the mushroom. It's the organism that produces the mushroom. So a lot of what we do is we're growing mycelium. So we're starting on petri dishes in sterile conditions. We're using these petri dishes to inoculate that mycelium onto other materials like grain, so maybe oats or millet, which we have to hydrate and sterilize. And if that's all grown healthily and correctly, we use those grains to inoculate other more substantive substrates like sawdust, really. That's the main substrate we work with. So it's all done in sterile conditions, all very, very carefully and precisely, and it's controlled. So once we've got the mycelium grown across our bulk substrates, we move those into a fruiting room. That's the easy part, is fruiting the mushrooms. It's just keeping the conditions right in that fruiting room, keeping it humid with lots of fresh air, nice lighting, keeping it very clean. And once the mycelium's in that room, we cut open the mycelium to expose it to fresh air and shock it, and it starts growing on its own accord, really. So the hard part is the sterile work.
Oh my word.
Yeah.
And do you focus on any particular variety?
It's a tricky thing to balance, because to make my life easy, I'd quite like to just grow one mushroom, because then you get to know it and you can have everything dialed in for that mushroom. I think our customers would get very bored though, so we try to do about 10 at a time. So it's a balance of having enough variety to be interesting and keep the chefs, give them the option to create new dishes every month, but also keeping it simple enough that we don't have to have different procedures and different rooms for all of the different mushrooms. So.
I love it. Now there's actually a fungi festival happening in Brighton very soon.
Yeah.
Are you going to be a part of that?
Yeah, the All Things Fungi Festival. Really excited about this. We went last year, absolutely loved it. We were just visitors. This year they've actually asked us to supply some mushrooms for the cafe there, for the food that they'll be serving. Wow. So we're going to be trying to contribute some native varieties to their cafe. So I'm very excited for that. It's an amazing event with mycologists, journalists, growers, foragers, all from across the world. It's amazing. Yeah, 3-day event.
Wow. And when is that happening?
That's actually, it's very close. It's September 12th to September 14th.
Very good.
Yeah.
Are there many of those around that you visit?
Fungi festivals, they're popping up all across the world. I don't know of many in England. That's the big one that I'm aware of. There might be some that I'm missing.
It's a whole new world. Who knew
this
existed under the fungi farm? That's lovely. Robbie, tell us, how has running this business changed you personally?
Oh, it's been hugely transformative. It's been an immense change to my life. I've learned so many practical skills, so many people skills. There's a huge plethora of skills that you need to know to run a business, and it's incredibly challenging and stressful, but I do absolutely love it, and I wouldn't change it.
I love that.
A huge learning experience, and it'd be hard to almost go back from it. Yeah, I enjoy the challenge day to day.
Because was this your first foray into business?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was my first business. Other than selling sea snails when I was about 14, weirdly, I don't know how I ended up doing that. I always had a curious mind. But I'd only ever worked as a chef prior to this, so very little experience in business.
And if you had any advice to any other up-and-coming food passionate business owners, what would you share with them?
That's a really tricky question. It's a very difficult industry in my experience, especially with mushrooms, as they're so fickle and difficult to work with. I think maybe find someone who's got experience and knows what they're doing in business and try and pick their brains, because it's so hard to understand all of the practical processes involved with creating a product, and then the marketing, and then the branding, and then doing all the finances on top of that. There's a lot of things to manage, and you should find someone who can maybe cover some of your weaknesses.
Yeah, love that. So find a passion, yours being the fungi, and find a mentor to help you with your business.
I think that's that
would be a great start.
Good start.
Yeah. Lovely. The final question for me is, who's Basil?
Oh, okay. So Basil was the family cat. So it was named in his memory.
Oh, that's lovely.
Yeah.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Robbie, thank you for coming in today.
Pleasure.
And for sharing your passion for the fungi and being a supporter of small business and helping local economy. That's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie.
If you have a local news story you would like to share with our viewers, please email us at news@thelatest.co.uk. Thank you for watching.